Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Barbara and I'm so happy that you're here today because today we have another weekend challenge and that means another HRCYED vlog. Now you notice first of all I'm holding something in my hand. This is my new microphone and I'm testing it, seeing if the sound is better, if it works. So please let me know what you think about the sound at the moment, if it is too loud or if there's something annoying happening or if it's annoying that I hold something in my hand as well. I just thought it would be really nice for me to step up the audio game on my videos, but the only way I think this actually sounds good is when I hold the microphone about yay far from my mouth. And so that means I have to hold it. So that's what we are dealing with today. Anyway, talking about the HRCYED challenge. If you don't know what HRCYED is, it is the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do, and it is hosted by Q over at QWERTY. I will link down below the announcement and QWERTY's channel, and it is a 1 year long challenge where you basically complete 25 different challenges. And every month I dedicate one weekend to one of the challenges. I randomly pick one and then focus on that one that month. So that is coming up now. Today is Wednesday. We start the weekend on Friday, of course, Friday to Sunday. So it's coming up and I'm excited to see what I'm supposed to focus on. But before we get into that, I also need to update you on how I did with my last challenge because I did not finish it in that weekend and I'm still working on it. It was the Queer Rainbow, something like that, I think the challenge was called, but it is focused on LGBTQIA+ books. And there I completed all of the prompts except of two. One of them I had Her Majesty's Royal Command for the prompt of transgender people, I think. I'm currently reading it. I'm halfway through. Hope to finish it before Friday. And the second book that I have for this challenge to finish the challenge, and that was, I'm not sure right now. I'm not sure, actually. I need to look it up. But The Shadow Cabin, which is sequel to Her Majesty's Royal Cabin. Both books written by Juno Dawson, who is a trans woman. This one I haven't started yet. And so this one is going to be, or finishing these two books for that challenge is going to be the priority number one, to finish that challenge. But if I manage to do this, because I plan to finish this one before Friday and then hopefully read this one throughout the weekend, I also want to get another challenge. Just in case, just to have another one ongoing, especially if I finish this one, I don't want to wait another month to start another challenge. So I want to have another challenge to work on throughout the month as well. So let's do that. See, this is hard without the microphone. So let me put the microphone down for a second. And we've got TBR game challenge. This is one of the most exciting ones that I could pick. I was so excited for this one. That means I need to find out which of the TBRs I'll have to play and then try to recreate it, which is actually fantastic that I do it today. So let's get into it and let's find out what TBR challenge or TBR game I'm going to be playing. Oh my gosh, this is exciting. Let's do this. Okay, so how I want to do this one is there is a list of TBR games in the spreadsheet that Q provided for her HRCYED challenge. And so I assigned a number from 1 to 90 for all of the games. I will show you later. So I decided to roll a die. I'm going to roll D100. Well, it's actually two dice, but one of them is 10-sided die from 0 to 90. And the other one is 0 to 9. So that way I can roll and see what number I roll from 0 to 90, and then we're going to see what the TBR game is and how we can recreate it. So let's roll the dice. $89. Okay, so here is the spreadsheet. Here is the list of all the TBR games, and I rolled 89. And 89 here stands for After Hours by Ladet M. I have to say I never heard of this TBR game, so we'll have to watch it. So let's go do that. I don't know if I can actually...
Welcome back to my channel. Today I am launching a...
I don't know if I can actually show you the video. I'm not sure of that, so I will link it down below. But then I will definitely talk you through it when I play it myself. So let me watch it and I'll get back to you. Okay, so I watched the video, at least half of it, the part where she plays the game. It is kind of a video game where you run around kind of a maze and pick up random books. And then that will give you a genre and then a prompt. And I don't know, she did 10 books. I think that's way too many, so I'm gonna do 5. I don't know if I can pick how many books I wanna pick, or because it's like you get 90 seconds to pick them. And so I'm gonna give it a shot. But if I need to pick 10 to finish the game, I will still pick only 5 for this challenge, if that's okay. Because I feel like that's just 10 is way too much. Like that would take me 2 months to read, honestly. So I think we're gonna give that a shot. Okay, so we are going to run the game and see what happens. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna skip the music. I don't want the music really. And then I guess okay, I can't pick. Do we have like a full screen? Probably not. And then it's also very laggy. This is not good. Ooh, Gothic. I don't want Gothic. Historical fiction would work. No, I picked Gothic. Okay, this is very slow, so it might take me actually 90 seconds to pick 5 books. My computer is struggling. There is romance, that would work. I also want the shadow cabinet maybe to count for something. So if we get some fantasy, that would be fantastic. Because I would then ideally be able to count it for both prompts, the LGBT and this one. But how slow is this? That's absolutely insane. Can you go a bit faster, please? Pretty please. Okay, which path do we take? We go here. This is definitely gonna take 90 seconds to pick like 4 books. And then if I don't manage to pick 5 books, then I lose a life and I start over. But I think it keeps the books from the previous run. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. I'll get to 5 books eventually. It just might take forever. What is that? That's thriller and mystery. Okay. That would work. Ooh, that would be great also for the climate fiction. Non-fiction, that would definitely work because I have Ocean to read. But how can I get to that room? I don't know. Do you think the timer is also slow? Or is the timer normal? Or is it also lagging like the game is lagging? I want to end it. This is a fail. Okay, here we go again. I downloaded the thing now. So let's see if it runs better. So am I supposed to do some settings? No. Okay, I just play S. Ooh, this is much faster. Very nice. Romance. I have maybe romance. Thriller, yes, I need one. Wow, this is so much faster. Gothic, no. I go down here again. Oh, so that was 2 books, I think. Wow, this is much faster. Let's see if the timer works this time. Fantasy sci-fi, yes, please. Thriller mystery, sure, let's pick that as well. Another romance, horror, no. Gothic, no. Can I have another non-fiction, please? Another fantasy is fine. Another fantasy sci-fi. I don't know. Sci-fi maybe. The climate fiction all should be considered sci-fi, right? I hope. If I want to read those this weekend anyway. Romance, no. Middle grade, no. Okay, this runs so much better. Thriller, I don't know. Whoop, almost picked that. Okay. No, I'm running out of time. Okay, here we are running out of time. Fun. Yes, historical fiction is fine. There was something here. Fantasy, sci-fi, okay. Anything? Okay, now we start over with like, because we didn't pick 10. Ooh, here is one, good. No. Oh, that was the last one. And here are the prompts. Okay, I said I will pick the first 5. Even though there is literary contemporary, that would be very good. But let's do the first 5 as we promised. So we've got romance, hyped book, thriller mystery, most recent purchase, fantasy sci-fi ecology key theme. What does that mean? Thriller mystery foreign country and fantasy sci-fi random page generator. Okay, now I need probably explanation of what these prompts mean. But 2, 4, 5. Yes, that's it. Fantasy sci-fi random page generator or ecology key theme. I will have to look into that. I think this sounds actually pretty good. So let me look into these prompts and what I can do with them and what books I should be reading for them. All right, I think I figured it out. All of them except of one, because one of them is random number generator. So I maybe will do it here with you. So first prompt was romance, hyped book, and I got just recently from library. It came from like a reservation that has been there for a long time. Is Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. Definitely a hyped book, definitely a romance. I have no idea what it is about, but Emily Henry writes it. I will attempt to read it. I loved half of her books and DNF to the other half. So we'll see which way this one falls. But this is the first book and it's a romance, so it should be pretty easy read, I hope. Second prompt was thriller, and the prompt was most recent purchase. And here I don't really keep track of the audiobooks that I buy, because I usually would buy audiobooks as like mystery thrillers. But I don't keep track of when, or I just started like last week. So I don't know when I purchased each or any of them. So instead I went through all my physical books and which one is the last thriller that I haven't read yet, and that would be Sounds Like a Plan by Pamela Samuels-Young and Wayne Alexander Smith. And you can see I already started this one like over a year ago, and I just put it away. It's not like it wasn't good. I just didn't, I had other things to read at that time, but now it fits for this prompt. So I'm going to be reading this. I got this for Christmas 2024. So it's been a while. It's not the oldest book on my TBR for sure, but would like to tick this one off. It also is perfect for one of my Aurelium prompts for few LDS ago. But so this one. Next prompt, we've got fantasy or science fiction, and the ecology is the key theme. That's what I figured it probably means. And here I picked Hum by Helen Phillips, which is longlisted for the Climate Fiction Prize. Definitely ecology theme, because climate fiction, it's, that goes hand in hand. And it is a sci-fi because Hum is like a robot. So I think this is a society where the robots become quite common. And I don't know what it is about. It's quite short one. So, but yeah, want to try this one. So this is for this prompt. Another one is thriller set in a foreign country. Here I went for one of the audiobooks that I have, and I came up with How to Solve Your Own Murder. This just sounds so much fun to me because it sounds like maybe time traveling, or something funny is going to be happening. But it is a mystery and it is set in England, which for me is a foreign country. So I'm going to be listening to that one. And then the last one is fantasy or science fiction and random page generator. Now, I don't know what this means. Does it mean in which like bracket it is, or like what number it should end on? Or it's just a random page generator. What does that mean? I need to find out. Give me a second. All right. So it seems I found a video where she managed to get this prompt as well. So I watched the video, and she didn't really say how she does it. She just kind of gets like a random number, and she said she got like 260, but I don't know what the number range she put in. So we're gonna do the same. We're just going to put in the number of pages that I have from the shortest book I have is 22. Longest book I have is 1,392. So I'm gonna put 0 to 1,400. Let's see, random number generator, and I'm gonna put 1 to 1,400, and we'll see what number I get. So here we have 1 to 1,400. So let's see what Google does to me. And it has to be fantasy or sci-fi. And this is from the books that I own. 517. All right, that could be very close to the shadow cabinet. 517. So if we check at what books I have of 517 is closest. Here we have 513. It's the thriller. Here we have A Gathering of Shadows, but that's a second book in a series. Mercy is fantasy. Here we have The Poppy War. I've read that. The Children of Blood and Bone. And then The Ninth Reign. Oh gosh, Son of Storm. Where is the shadow cabinet? Is it too far away? Would I be pushing it too far? Where is the shadow cabinet? Is it 600 something? No, it can't be that much. Did I not ever put it? Okay, this book has 504 pages. 504, and we got what? 517. How close are we there? We have 513, 510, 508. That's a little bit closer, but it's to 506. This one, 6. Mercy. There is the shadow cabinet, 504. Or on the other side, 531. No, I already read that. Children of Blood and Bone I read. Of Blood and Fire I read. The Ninth Reign. That's too far. So we would be going with Mercy or the shadow cabinet. The difference is 2 pages, so I think we can count it. I'm gonna count the shadow cabinet for this prompt. I'm pushing it 2 whole pages. Will you allow me? Is that okay? I'm gonna do that. So that's my pick. Here is the stack. We've got the shadow cabinet for sci-fi, fantasy, random page generator, ham for, what are you for? Sci-fi ecology key theme. Sounds like a plan, thriller most recently purchased, great big beautiful lie romance most hyped book, and then I've got how to solve your own murder, thriller set in a foreign country. Definitely cannot read all of these in one weekend, but I will do my best to read as many of them as possible. I'm excited for this one. It's a little bit shame that I can't pick any of the books, like put any books that I already read for this. So it is one of those challenges that I have to just start from scratch, but I'm sure I'll be able to count some of these books for other prompts as well. I mean, Shadow Cabinet I already will have for LGBT as well. And then Ham will be probably for the awards, Climate Fiction Prize Award. And then these 2 will be for something else. But it's fine. It will turn out all good anyway. So that is the plan. That means I don't need to get any new books for the weekend. And so we are ready to start the weekend on Friday. I'm excited. So it is time for a check-in. Now it is much, much later. I unfortunately did not manage to get you any update throughout that weekend. That's just completely disappeared. I did read almost an entire book in that weekend, but I did not update you. So we are going to do that now. I think we're also going to change the system of these vlogs. It no longer is going to be a vlog for every weekend. Of course, the challenge weekends, I will still try to vlog them as much as I can, but I'm no longer going to attempt or keep these vlogs to only a weekend. I'm going to keep them as long as it takes me to finish these challenges. And so we are now nearing our next weekend challenge, which is going to be starting now on Friday. So in 3 days is going to be the March one. So So it's time to update you. So I finished early on Friday that weekend. I finished Her Majesty's Royal Coven. I did not enjoy this one as much as the first time reading it. I think it is because the suspense factor was removed and the book itself, the story itself, did not really give me enough to keep me interested. But the cliffhanger at the end totally hooked me in, and I was very interested in starting the second one. So I did start The Shadow Cabinet right away, and I read like 70% of this one in that weekend. Like I couldn't stop reading it. I read this one so fast. And again, I think the point or like the biggest factor was that this I was reading for the first time, and then it's kind of like I want to know what happens. In Her Majesty's Royal Coven, I already knew how it was all going to play out, and that's why I was not really that interested in it anymore. But this one, I had no idea what to expect, and so it kept me in for like much easier and very much intrigued. I did enjoy this one. I have some complaints, but overall, I really enjoyed it. So actually, I am currently reading also the third one, The Human Race, the third one, last one in the series. I am now 100 pages in. So this one's going slower. It's not a priority, but I'm reading that as well. So this would complete the Queer Rainbow Challenge, and means also this one was the first book for the TBR challenge. Second book for the TBR challenge, I did start listening to How to Solve Your Own Murder on audiobook, but it just didn't keep my attention. It was two perspectives, not timelines, but like different points in time. And we kind of followed what was happening today, and then our main character and her great aunt from 40 years ago, what happened to her. And it just didn't keep me in, and I was not interested. So I kind of DNF, like soft DNF. I will maybe come back to it one day and maybe feel more like it, but this time it was not for me. So I switched over to My Husband's Wife instead by Alice Feeney, which is also or was also my new release for January for HRCYED. So that would complete that prompt as well. And so I listened to that one in 3 days, and it was so captivating. I absolutely adored that one. It was so good. It kept me hooked. I just wanted to know what was going on, and every chapter was a cliffhanger, and I just needed to know. And that one was a lot of fun. So here we follow a character. She goes on a run, and as she does regularly this time of week, she doesn't take her phone or anything. She likes to completely unplug, and she goes for a run. When she gets home, her key doesn't fit, and the door opens a woman who claims to be her, and she's now confused, like what's happening. And we follow it from there. She tries to prove that she is who she claims she is, and this woman that opened the door is not her. And she gets arrested by police, and we have multiple points of view, and it's so intriguing. I absolutely loved it. I did not 100% buy the ending. That's why it was not a 5-star. I felt like the ending was a little bit underwhelming and was like, yeah, that makes sense, but I don't know, it didn't completely blow my mind. So that's why it was like 4.5 stars, I think. But that was the second one then. And that also fit, of course, the thriller set in a different country because it was set in an English countryside. And then the third book for this challenge I am reading is Hum. I am currently this far in, so like 70%. And yeah, let me see. Yeah, this far in. So I started this yesterday. It reads super fast. I'm listening to it on audiobook. The audiobook is really good. I really like the audiobook. And here we follow a woman who has a husband and 2 children, and they live in a world in the future where the environment is completely wrecked. There is basically no nature, no animals living in the wild, and the technology is very, very advanced. All the kids, they have these kind of like mini computers or kind of like tablets, phones attached to their wrists. They call them bunny. all kids have them, and they go on the internet there. They can check everything they need. They're very much dependent on it, as you would expect, as we are on the phones. And everybody is very much into technology there. And our main character, May, she basically gets a surgery to change her facial structure, kind of. So it is still her, but it's a little bit changed. And it is done by this robot called Hum, and there are different robots that are called Hum, and they are kind of like artificial intelligence, but they look like human. She gets a lot of money for this surgery to do this. It seems like she's maybe a little misinformed about it, but she does this surgery because she needs money. She was fired or let go from her job because she was replaced by artificial intelligence. And now they are running a lot of money, the family. So she does the surgery to help the family with some money. And for this money, she also takes them away to a trip in a botanical garden where it's still forest, it's still grass and animals, and it's all nice and thriving, clean air, and everything is perfect. So she takes them there. It's a luxurious vacation, but little does she know that even though her face is now not recognizable by surveillance, she is still watched all the time. Everybody is watched all the time. This story is kind of a descent into madness, it feels like. I'm still not done, but that's kind of what it feels like. It's a story of a mad woman. Now, there are moments where I completely agree with this mad woman and the way she despises the technology, but at the same time, she also very much uses it. Hypocrite, like all of us, all of me. I also don't like artificial intelligence. At the same time, if my job tells me to use it, I will use it. It's unfortunately the time we live in now. This is kind of like a completely separate discussion, but this is kind of her mindset. Like, she doesn't like the technology. She doesn't like how everybody is in the technology. At the same time, she doesn't realize is how much she is into the technology. And lots of times she zones out. Instead of talking to her children, she is completely in her own head and thinking about different things, and also in her head complaining about the technology while the kids are trying to talk to her, and she completely misses out on that. So it's a lot of little things like this mixing together. Or my understanding so far of this book is her descent into madness, but also kind of showing us the goods and the bads of the technology, which I appreciate. I appreciate that it's not only the evil of it, but also that it shows some good things about it and how it could be very useful. So yeah, I'll see how the rest of this goes. I expect to finish today or tomorrow, so I will give you an update on that when I'm finished. So far, I am not a huge fan. I like some aspects of this book, but overall, this descent into madness of women is not my favorite thing, or at least the way this is written. It kind of reminds me of The Coin, by Yasmin Zahir, I think it is, that I read. It's also kind of makes sense, but is also deranged. So we'll see. We'll see how this one continues. It's a short one. I have, I don't know, 50 pages left. So I'm gonna continue with this one. And then I have 2 books left. Sounds like a plan. I have them here. So these 2 books left. Sounds like a plan. And then Great Big Beautiful Life. So those are my next reads. I do want to finish them before Friday, before our next reading challenge, but we'll see how that goes. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Yeah, I will update you in how Hum wraps up. It is now Friday morning, so 3 days later, and I am here to film an update. I did not finish all of the books, not yet, but I did finish Hum by Helen Phillips, and I rated this 3 stars because there were some things that I really liked, some things that I didn't like. Mostly what I didn't like is that most of the things were unsolved. It seemed like there was no solution to many of the things that were happening. There was this kind of mysterious thing happening on one of the children's bunnies, and that was never solved. There was never clear why that was an issue, what was happening, what was the point. Don't understand. Then there was a big kind of issue towards the end or like in the second half, and that was like very easily solved. And I don't know, it just felt unfinished. And then the ending is my least favorite ending of all. Absolutely did not like the ending, because I'm not going to say, of course, because spoilers, but I did not like that ending. But overall, it was not too bad. It was very interesting. It made you think, which kind of was the point, I guess. And it made me think about how we should be much more appreciative of our nature, treasure it while we have it, and try to preserve it before we get to the point where they were in Hum. And yeah, I don't know, 3 stars. And this book made it onto the shortlist. The shortlist was announced this week, and this was made onto the shortlist of the climate fiction for 2026. But so one book from shortlist done. And then I went on and continued with, or started again with Sounds Like a Plan by Pamela, well, drop the book, Pamela Samuels Young and Wayne Alexander Smith. And this is a thriller book set in LA, in Los Angeles, in the US. And we follow 2 points of view. We have the male detective, or male private investigator, and female private investigator. They are both black. They get the task of finding this woman that she is kind of missing, but not really. Her mother is very sick and is about to die, and wants to find her before she dies, to like tell her some things. And so these 2 are hired to find her, and they'll get a huge reward for finding her. And so they try, and they start getting into each other's way, and then there is some romance. Without saying much spoilers, I think that is quite obvious from the beginning, or at least from the back of the book. So yeah, there is some romance. It is a thriller, so there is a lot of suspense. It is very fast-paced. Lots of things are happening. Some things don't really make sense at all. Like, if I can say like one thing that bothered me the most in the entire book is how reckless they were sometimes. Like at the end of the day, sometimes they end up working somewhat together, and at some point they go break into the house of a man that they know died, and because they can find out something from this house. And so they go into the house, and then, yeah, nobody's gonna come here. They try to find some things, and then, let's have a drink. And they pour themselves some alcohol while they are in this house. And then, hold and behold, they are suddenly sleeping. They just took a nap because they were tired, and they were, why not take a nap in a house that you are breaking into? And then they ended up sleeping there the whole night. Like, what the actual heck? That didn't make any sense. Somebody in the reviews said it almost felt like it was written by AI, which I can agree in some degree. One point of view was written very much like it really resonated. The other point of view felt very arrogant and misogynistic at times, even though it was written in a way that, I protect women, I respect, and like he protected her sometimes, but overall it felt very, no, I did not like the character. So yeah, we got this kind of book. I gave that also 3 stars because I had a good time with it. I listened to this on audiobook all in one day while working on my cross stitch. In one day, I mean, given I wasn't working, but still. I listened to this all in one day, which is like 300-page book. It was a lot of fun, and it was slightly unexpected. It's not like I was shocked, but it was unexpected. I didn't see that coming. I was like, okay, what's the reason? What's going on here? This one is a 3 stars. It was fun, but not great. And then yesterday I started reading Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. And I found this actually on Spotify, the audiobook. I didn't find it anywhere. Well, I did find it on Storytel, but it was like you have to buy it, not just like it's not included in the subscription, you have to buy it. So I didn't want to do that because I have the library book, but I found it on Spotify. So I'm listening to it on Spotify. I'm now 140 pages in, this far in. So like 30%. So far I'm enjoying it. To some degree, the the banter between the two main characters feels very similar to sounds like a plan, I have to say. I sometimes keep mixing up like what happened where, and when I think about them, it's the same couple to me. Like, okay, these were black and these were, I imagine they are white. Actually, I don't think if it's ever written or said, but that's just, I mean, the character on the cover, they look white. But anyway, yeah, it feels almost like a same couple when they're bantering with each other. Not characters themselves, but the way they are bantering and the things that happened, kind of leading to something very similar. So it's kind of confusing me what happened where, but otherwise I'm really enjoying this one. From the beginning, I got a little bit throwback to Evelyn Hugo, Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, because we follow a journalist who finds this superstar. She was super famous back in the day. She's now 80 something years old, and she disappeared for the last 20 years. People had no idea what happened with her, where she went, and she tracked her down and is now kind of in like with this other guy. They are the last two in the run to write her biography, memoir. Now they are spending time with her, and that kind of felt like Evelyn Hugo. Like, why did you pick these two people? Why did you choose to say the story now? And that feels very much like Evelyn Hugo. But we get the story of the star. We are like, I don't think that's the focus of the book, but it seems like almost half of the story is that. But then almost the bigger part of the story is actually the go abouts of the main character, how she goes around the small island where they are and meets different people and things like that. So I'm enjoying it so far. So far it's good. So far it doesn't feel like a DNF like the other Emily Henry books I DNF'd. So this is hopeful. And I do hope to finish today, even though that's probably quite unlikely because I still have like 6 hours left of the audiobook. I don't know if I'll have enough time for, maybe I'll finish by the end of the today, but not before the next challenge weekend starts at like 5 o'clock. So, but yeah, I'm going to wrap up this vlog after I finish this book. I'm not going to wrap it up before the next weekend. I'm gonna wrap it up when I finish this book. This book is the last for this HRCYED challenge, and so yeah, that's the plan. So let me go continue with that, listen to it while I work on my Easter cross stitch. This is what I've been working on the last week, trying to prepare that for Easter. I don't think it will be done by Easter, but it's I'm gonna attempt. Also next week I go back to work, so I won't have as much time to cross stitch all day, but I'm still gonna give it a shot. So yeah, let me go read more of Emily Henry and I'll get back to you when I finish it. Okay, so now it is now Saturday early afternoon. It's almost 2 o'clock, and I finished Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, and I give this strong 4 stars. I don't think it's quite 5, but this will be one of my top Emily Henrys, I think, if I sit on it for a little bit. There were some things like it was different from what I expected. I don't know why. I don't know what I expected. I expected romance like the other books, but this one was more into style of Evelyn Hugo, Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. More than that, it was focused on the life of the journalist that was interviewing the superstar, or the famous person, but it was kind of that style. But I really, really enjoyed it. In the end, I almost cried. That probably was also helped with the great narration of Julia Wheeler. So I really recommend listening to the audiobook because the narration was fantastic. I really liked the way it was done. The ending, again, a little bit too of a happy ending. Let's not pretend. I like my books to have somewhat of a bittersweet ending, but maybe not from Emily Henry, I guess. But anyway, it was very nice. I really, really enjoyed it. I think it was very well done. And yeah, I don't know if I need to say anything more, but I really enjoyed it. That was the last book for the TBR challenge for HRCYED, so that is now complete. So I'm really excited about that. There was 5 books. It was Great Big Beautiful Life. I gave this one 4 stars, 4.5 almost. We've got Sounds Like a Plan, which is 3 star. We've got Hum by Helen Phillips, which got 3 stars, not more than that probably. Now I grabbed Human Rights, but actually The Shadow Cabinet. The Shadow Cabinet by Juno Dawson. That one I gave 4 stars. Enjoyed that one as well. And the fifth book was My Husband's Wife by Alice Finney. And that was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed that one. So yeah, this was pretty successful vlog. 5 books. That's not too bad. And enjoyed most of them. That's that for this vlog. I know it was very much just reading updates, not much other happening. So this is clearly just a reading vlog, but this is also basically trying my microphone. This is the first vlog with the microphone, so I hope it's working and usable. So we shall see. But yeah, that's it for now. So thank you so much for watching. If you watched this far, uh, I'm vlogging, sir.
Then I just take the key and go then.
No! Thank you. Yeah, if you watched this far, then you know what? Yeah, put me in the comments cat emojis or book emojis. Because here, let me show you. Wait, I don't know how I can show you. Give me a second. Okay, yeah. The tea strainer is a reading cat. Yeah, the tea strainer is a reading cat. So, yeah, leave me a cat emoji or a book emoji in the comment. But otherwise, that's it for this vlog. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.